This is the generation of Hollywood that, for me, was the greatest of all time. The Mel Brooks and Carl Reiner era, the Bob Newhart era, the Madeline Kahn and Gene Wilder and Richard Pryor era.
And of course, included in this mix of icons is a man named Garry Marshall.
You know Garry, that Bronx boy with a raspy voice whose charisma and charm made him a Hollywood legend.
Well, unfortunately for the world, Garry Marshall passed away. So we are going to honor his work because most people just know Garry Marshall as the director of Pretty Woman or the creator of Happy Days. But this is a guy who's had so many projects, things you may not even know that he was involved in. So we're going to run down those projects, or as many as I can fit in one breath.
Garry Marshall was a writer for Jack Park, Danny Thomas, Joey Bishop, Dick Van Dyke, The Lucy Show, Bob Hope, The Odd Couple, a show called Me and the Chimp. I'm not joking. He created Happy Days, wrote for Laverne and Shirley, created Mork and Mindy, and Joni Loves Chachi.
He also directed
Movies like The Flamingo Kid, Nothing in Common, Overboard,
I just ate a bug.
Beaches,
We haven't grown apart. You've fallen apart.
Pretty Woman, Frankie and Johnny,
one of my favorite films of all time.
Exit to Eden, Dear God, Runaway Bride, both Princess Diaries, Raising Helen, Valentine's Day, New Year's Eve, and Mother's Day.
And believe it or not, I actually left out like a bunch. Not to mention his acting credits, which spanned from George Burns in 1950 to The Odd Couple in 2016. And I was lucky enough to have met Garry a few times. And I gotta say, one of the reasons I wanted to do this segment so bad, besides his body of work, was his sweetness and warmth. Remember, we did a piece together in his office, which could honestly be a Hollywood museum. Favorite picture in all of Garry's office?
It's Norman Lear, one of my mentors, Carl Reiner, another mentor, Mel Brooks, Anne Bancroft.
Who's that?
And me.
Oh, that's you. This
Yeah,
is the timeline of Julia right here.
Right here.
Right.
And I like to work with pretty girls. What can I tell you?
The actual Zoltar,
Yeah.
everybody.
Penny didn't know what to do with it. Said, put it in your lobby.
And this was a man who could have easily been a pompous LA character, but he was so unaffected. The guy drove, I'm not joking, a 2010 Nissan Maxima and had a stickball court in his office parking lot. He also loved ice cream. Every time I saw him, he had a fudgicle upside down in a cup. He absolutely loved the Lakers and had basketballs all over his office. He had the same group of friends since they all moved to Hollywood in the 50s. But that's the thing about Garry. It was just easy to be his friend.
So rest in peace, Garry Marshall. Thanks for the countless pieces of work you left behind. The ones that made us laugh.
Fly, be free.
Cry.
You're smart. You're beautiful. You have hair that moves.
And fall in love.